Hi everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about and taste the rye pale ale that I brewed back in early October and see how it turned out. It was the one, if you'll remember, that we actually did some dry hopping on, and that's the first home brew that I've ever dry hopped in the secondary, so we'll see how that turned out. It's an extract kit that I got at Northern Brewers, and it included specialty grains, and it cost $39 or about 75 cents a bottle. Ouch! That's a lot of money. It's more than I usually spend on a kit, and it was really partially my fault. I had seen a kit, an American rye, that I wanted, and when I went in there I mistakenly picked this one up and brewed it instead, but you know, hopefully it'll be worth it. Worth the 75 cents a bottle, which, I mean, in reality isn't that much to spend on a good brew. So what Northern Brewers said about this kit was that it has a reddish golden hue and a good balance of firm body and lingering bitterness. This brew is a showcase of both hops and grain. The fruity floral notes of the Palisades hops are a perfect complement to the spicy flavor of the rye malt. So we'll see. As I've said before, I'm not a real big fan of bitter beers, but I do like to have something strong every once in a while, and a lot of the folks that come over really like getting that kind of bitter flavor, so they're really drawn to this or to some of the other pale ales that I've done in the past. This particular one, after I brewed it, it took about 8 hours before I started to see airlock activity. And then it spent 7 days in the primary, 7 days in the secondary, and believe it or not, in 7 days this was really carbonated. So let's give it a whirl. By the way, it had about a 6.5, 6.6 alcohol. So 6.6 ABV. It's stronger than most of the brews I've made. And you can see it has a nice head. And it has a great color. There's no doubt about it. And they said reddish golden, and I would say that probably fits the bill. It's a very nice color, nice caramely colored head. And it smells like an ale. I mean, you get some of those fruity notes in there, and it has a very nice aroma to it. Let's give it a shot. Cheers. It's good. It definitely does have a rather bitter aftertaste. It's not a bad one, and it doesn't, it's not what I'd call long lasting. You can actually pick up on some of the bitterness when you first start to drink it, and I think some of those flavors will mellow with time. I found that with some of the other pale ales that I had, where I initially thought they were maybe a little bit too bitter. Over time in conditioning, they tended to get much better, and I would assume this will too, although this has a very a surprisingly good flavor, having only been conditioned for about 10 or 12 days now, which I typically don't drink them that soon. But it's got a great aroma, and it's got a great flavor. I'm trying to put my finger on what it tastes like, and I just can't. It reminds me of another beer, but I just can't. The first thought when I take it in is it has kind of it felt almost like a Weizen beer, but it's not quite. It has more bitterness than that. It is surprisingly very good, and I'm guessing it's going to get even better with time. So I'd recommend this one. Again, on some of the ones that are a little more bitter, they're probably not a good homebrew to introduce someone to that's used to drinking an American beer like a Budweiser or a Miller. You might want to get them slowly into it with something that's a little more mild, but this is certainly a good beer to have around. It certainly has a great flavor to it, great body, great mouthfeel. and definitely picking up on the hops because there were 3 hops in the boil, and then obviously the dry hopping. And not a big fan of the dry hopping after I saw what a mess it made in the carboy, but obviously it had the intended result. So it worked and it made a great beer. So next, I did do my first all grain, and it's currently fermenting, so we'll see how that turns out. I do have to brew another all grain beer, a Kelch, coming up, so I would guess between getting the first all grain brew into the bottle and brewing the Kelch, that'll be some of the things that are coming up next. So until next time, I hope you have a great week, a great Homebrew Wednesday, and cheers. This has been a Matty Boy presentation. Say bye-bye, Matty.
Bye-bye.